Learn to escape arm bars like a black belt. I'm Doc Josh from Mobility Doc.
I'm Rene Sousa from 10th Planet.
And we are going to give you everything from beginner to advanced tips if you hang in there on arm bars.
What's up, guys? We're here. We're here for you, okay? We're here to help your shoulders, elbows, and wrists by not just giving you a one quick stop fix to all these things, but something to add into your routine to make you feel better.
Yeah, we were talking, Rene and I, about elbows specifically, and all the ways in which someone could use mobility to improve their ability to get out of an arm bar. Some of this might not be like first level, first step stuff, but I was saying to Rene that one of the most common issues that we deal with in here at Mobility Doc is beginners all the way to advanced Jiu-Jitsu practitioners who are getting their UCL sprained or just getting the muscles around their elbow kind of torqued on, which it creates pain. So elbows, I would say, is probably the most common thing we see in here. It's not actually like knees or hips, it's usually elbow. And I feel that the main reason is because people are lacking some fundamental mobility in their spine and in their shoulders to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah. And if you stay for the whole video, you're gonna get a black belt escape tip too. So we're gonna go through some black belt details in mobility. Also, we're gonna look at some other like motion things that like help you just be able to move a little bit better. So let's get down to it. So why is, if my elbow's hurting, what does my shoulder have to do with that?
Yeah, so
because my elbow's right here, but my shoulder's right here.
That's very accurate.
How many bones are there in my elbow?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's made up of your radius, your ulna, and your humerus. And I mean, it's a good question.
What about this right here? What's this?
What are we pointing at? So this is your olecranon. So like the pointy part of the elbow here is like the tip of your olecranon process, and it's a cup that comes off of your humerus that sits on your ulna, and then your radius is actually has this little head, this little capitulum that sits on the outside. But those three bones are held in place at the elbow by some muscles, but also you have your lateral ligaments and your medial ligaments. And like the most dangerous one that you guys are attacking when the elbow is being stressed out in this direction is your ulnar collateral ligament, your UCL, which is also that Tommy John ligament. But it's career ending if this gets torn too much, because then you get tons of laxity and it doesn't just come back as good. So those three bones make up like the elbow, and this UCL ligament, as well as this common flexor tendon, which is also like, if you think like golfer's elbow, that common flexor tendon all comes in across this direction. So we are going to be trying to save this, because when someone's attacking your elbow, if you want to get out of that, Rene was sharing with me, you need to be able to rotate through your shoulder to change the angle of attack that person has on you. And if you can't move from your shoulder, then you're dead to rights here when they've got your elbow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so why don't we figure we would do this a little bit like talking to you, a little bit we're just talking to each other, and let's maybe get on the ground and talk through some of your own insight into your escapes that you're teaching. He's giving you black belt, up to black belt level information on escaping, but I'm going to give you beginner to black belt 3 mobility exercises that we're going to cover. One for the wrist, one for the elbow, using something that we call muscle floss or tack and floss, and then we're going to go through a shoulder exercise, all really simple, that should just be part of your daily routine to keep your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders happy and safe.
Cool. So really quick, just what we need to happen in an arm bar is we need our arm to get extended from our body. We need our shoulder, the near side shoulder and the far side shoulder, to be pinned to the floor. And then from here, most of the time, right, super beginner tip, but like if the thumb's up, you're good, right? If the thumb is in any other direction, it's gonna be more difficult to break the arm because it can bend in either direction, right? So that's one thing that we're thinking about as the person in arm bar. I'm thinking about turning my thumb in either direction. We call this hitchhiker or reverse hitchhiker. But the biggest problem that I see with people is that they try to do this, right? When somebody's on my arm, Dr. John's about to be on my arm, I'm not that strong, right? I don't have I can't. There's like.
What are you talking about? Look at that.
I'm not. I can't curl these 180-pound dumbbells they have in the back here, right? So what I need to do is I initiate momentum from my legs. Okay, so I do like a scissoring motion in either direction to either get up and stack my partner or just to kind of move away. Okay. So we're right here. My partner is gonna have my arm like this. Okay, and then from here, his ankles are gonna be in the floor, even if his legs are short, okay? From here, both of my shoulders are on the floor. The first motion to just get kind of comfortable with is if my partner falls back right here, he bridges up, he pulls his ankles down. So if he goes for it right there, I have to tap, right? I have to give up. But from here, notice how like I bring my knees up off of the floor, and now I'm gonna kick my right leg up and my left leg down just so I can turn my knees in the opposite direction. Already right here, I'm kind of like giving my shoulder to Dr. John. His ankle's gonna stay strong here. He's gonna try to continue to pull my arm down, and my arm can just kind of bend right here, okay? And look how my thumb's not up, right? That's gonna give me some problems, so I'm turning my thumb down initially right here.
And keep track of this position, because one of the exercises in particular I'm going to give you is going to help you to be able to be in this position. And if your shoulder mobility and thoracic spine mobility is trash, you're not going to be able to do what Rene is telling you, because you're going to be too tight and you're going to still be stuck back this way.
Yeah.
And you're going to basically be submitting yourself.
Yeah. Don't be trash. Go get the cash. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So from here, knees to chest. And now I'm turning my right shoulder up and trying to take it. Even if he holds leg curl super strong here, now I'm at least a little bit stronger here. I can use my elbow to start to build my base. I can let my elbow bend. That's what we call a reverse hitchhiker. Or the other way would be like, as I turn my knees this way like this, I just continue to build to my knees in the opposite direction. And I escape, and I get that money.
Why don't we go through the first exercise that we were just talking about? So you could come back a little bit towards me. There you go. Look at that shrimping. All right, good. So Rene is going to choose either side that you want to. You're going to twist to one side, which notice he's even still using that hip momentum. Because again, this is to relate this to what he just did. Go ahead and do it without me even on you. Like kind of like throw your hips. Yeah. So like. One of the things that people get stuck on is like they can't stop landing on that bottom thigh. So what Rene's going to do is he's going to stretch here. So this leg's coming up, this hand's down. He's going to force this leg back a little extra. This arm now, let your head rest for me. Good. So now this arm is going to sweep up towards your head. Good. And he's going to do like 5 of those for me. As Rene's doing this, he's focusing on improving his ability to keep that arm down on the ground. After we do 5 this way, let's just switch which direction your head's at so we can get like a different angle for them to see.
Yeah.
So
I think when I help a lot of people do these a lot, and people try to like really force this right here, but I can never touch the floor here. So I just always tell people, just go until you feel this tension. Well, I feel this tension with my far side leg, right? Like from here. And I just like, I'd rather like, right, and from here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't need to push my leg to the floor. I just need to kind of like, I feel the stretch when I really like reach here.
Yeah.
With my toes.
No, that's good. And you should, you're right. And like naturally, as you get better at it, you find that you'll bring the leg down over more and more on this top leg.
Yeah.
So now what Rene's doing is this twisted angel, which is he is like pushing up like he's doing like a Y with the one arm. And some of you will be able to keep your forearm down on the ground and your fingertips on the ground, but it's okay if you don't exactly get there yet, because that's where you're headed. So this is a big stretch for your lats, your spine, your shoulders, all the way into your fingertips. Let's do the same thing, but lay your head over the other way. Just yeah, so it's a good question of where your neck should be. You tend to like have head follow like the arm as it's twisting up is something they'll say. Most importantly though, let your head rest on the ground a bit. Like try not to strain your neck flexors trying to do this.
Yeah.
And again, Rene's sweeping along the floor, doing this, that's the arm sweep portion. Then after he does about 5 of those, he's gonna go ahead and do 5 of the twisted angel, where he's now kind of bringing his elbow into his pocket or to his back, and then he's pushing up, trying to keep that external rotation in this arm while he does it. So this position again looks very similar to that escape out of the armbar when Rene was flicking his hips and then trying to rotate out. If you can't do this with your shoulder, you can't do hitchhiker, reverse hitchhiker.
Yeah.
This is hitchhiker, and then the other one with the arm sweep is helping you to be able to do reverse hitchhiker.
Yeah. This is, I mean, first thing I do on the mat every day is foam roll with thoracic extension, and this is always the second thing. And just a little spicy tip too, here too. I'll just grab just for a little pretzel.
Yeah, make sure you get this hip back a little bit. There you go. If you want to get that Bretzel 1.0, which is what Rene is doing right now, is you got to make sure that this bottom knee comes back so that way you stretch that hip flexor. And then as he's letting that shoulder go down to the ground and he keeps the top leg over, you're stretching the rotators of the top hip, the hip flexors of the bottom hip, your spine, the whole way up to your neck. So this is a great stretch for getting a lot of you at once. So we went arms.
And you only have 5 minutes, right? So boom, right now, 5 minutes, like one position where you can get how many muscles? Unlimited muscles.
Yeah, that's more than one can count. But we did the arm sweep, twisted angel into a Bretzel, and you would do that on both sides. Yeah.
So this has to come back.
Yeah, so this top thigh comes back. This one's here. Let your neck rest. And then work on breathing out and exhaling while that top shoulder kind of comes back towards the ground. Good, let that head rest. There you go. Yeah. And this is good though, because you'll see we all have like one side that's tighter than the other, but we need to escape with both sides. Someone grabs the other arm, you don't want to be only good at getting out on one side of your body.
Yeah.
So you do this Bretzel on both sides. So again, arm sweep, maybe about 5 to 10 reps, twisted angel, about 5 to 10 reps, hold that Bretzel about 20 to 30 seconds, do it on each side. You can go through that maybe a couple rounds. That's like less than 5 minutes right there.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a full body warm up, and then you'd go into your more like dynamic jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so shoulders. What's next? All
right, so we spoke about using muscle floss. We like to use, for those of you who are looking for it, we use Rock Tape's muscle floss, but there are other brands. It's just this one seems to always...
Shout out to Rock Tape for sponsoring this video.
Exactly. So if you have a partner to do this to you, it's that much easier. But what you're going to do is start below the elbow, and then you're going to lay just a base down for the tape. So that way, after I get to here, it's gonna stick, because now I'm gonna add some pressure here. So let your hand just rest on the ground for me here. Perfect. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pull out and around. So, roll this out a little bit. I'm gonna come out and around, keeping tension. I'll come above his elbow here, out and around. And when I get towards the end, you're gonna need to fold this tape in. So I'm gonna come like a balloon, like if I was tying off a balloon, and I'm gonna get my thumb in there, and then I'm gonna tuck this piece in there. Okay, so what Rene's gonna do now is he's gonna work some flexion and extension with some weight on that elbow, because you're gonna get, what you're doing is you're flossing these muscles through this tack down band. That's why they call it muscle floss. So this is breaking up adhesions, bringing up tension in the muscle. You can go through any kind of extension and flexion. I also like to, you could work on posting in and out with your arm, so that way you feel like, one of the main things that I get in here when someone does have elbow pain or shoulder pain is it's because somebody else has been putting their weight on them, and they're absorbing that into the elbow here. So this is a great way of breaking up all those adhesions and all that kind of trauma from someone pushing their weight on you and you having to absorb it.
Yeah. Another black belt tip though, if my opponent's standing and I'm right here, I shouldn't be trying to push with my arm here, right? I should be doing one of two things. I should be as he scoots towards me, I should be managing distance with my feet in any kind of way. Or if he's this close to me and I don't want to post on my hand here, just play from your back. Right? Use your legs. It's crazy how there's answers in mobility, but it's also answers in how you do jiu-jitsu,
Oh,
right?
yeah, exactly. The number one thing is people are usually getting hurt in practice because of their own technique. So like you keep refining the technique and you keep being more efficient in how you're moving and how you're defending and attacking, and you're going to get hurt less or be hurt less. This same idea with attack and floss on Rene's elbow here, like you can put that on any part of your body, but since we're focusing on shoulder, elbow, wrist, why don't we loosen this up and now we'll come down to wrist, because we'll do those wrist clock exercises. Yeah, you could definitely do push-ups. Why don't you show them with the band face in the camera? He's hiding all the good stuff. Oh, look at that.
That's kind of hard.
Yeah. Well, the more dynamic the work is with the band, the more you will get out of it. So there's not only one way to muscle floss the elbow, but it can only bend and extend. So definitely make sure that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
And this is really great for any of you who have inside elbow pain, outside elbow pain, bicep pain. All right, so remember you where you put it, so that way you can get it off. Pulling this, then we're gonna let this go. He's gonna get a rush of blood back into the area. Yeah, so good. Remember the muscle floss does two things. One is it's like breaking up adhesions, but the other is it's a form of like blood flow restriction. So when you take this band off, you're getting all of this like fresh, clean blood crashing back into an area, which is like a form of almost like your own PRP. Like you're helping to like increase the amount of good blood into an area at a local level, like without having to spend, all the money. Not saying it completely replaces PRP, but I'm saying this is like your own way of getting your constant daily.
And that'll help like this thing that I have right here, right?
That's this work breaks up adhesions, which in Rene's case can help loosen up the area around his radius and where it attaches into the side of the elbow, and help with the popping that you're feeling. Nice. Why don't you were talking about wrists. Yeah. Why don't we show the wrist clock exercise that you really liked?
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of times my wrists are really sore from a couple of things, from like squeezing a lot, but I feel like it comes from my forearm, from my elbow, from my shoulder even. So just like not really trying to like be here and like force weight into my wrist, but just kind of like moving over this. Even like as soon as I move right here, I feel some tension in my right elbow. So just breathing, just moving a little weight, like sort of like I think about it kind of like the dynamic hamstring stretch. I'm not like trying to like put a lot of stress on it. I'm just kind of like moving through it right here, forwards and back. Can maybe like move my elbow a little bit too. And I'll like kind of switch directions. So I'm kind of just like bringing my weight in either direction, side to side. This one is definitely really good.
Yeah, notice Rene's doing a great job of trying to like get his balance into both sides, so that way he can assess what's the left one feel like, what's the right one feel like. As he's like rotating his fingers like a clock, he's also changing the lines of tension, so that way you can make sure that there aren't any snagging points or catching points in your wrists, your forearms. Right? Wrists are, again, one of those more common pain points, especially for like beginner jiu-jitsu practitioners that we see, because it's not a part of you that we usually are like training to be flexible in life. There's not a lot of situations that help us to improve that flexibility, but jiu-jitsu requires an incredible amount of flexibility, stability, and strength. So like if you notice how Rene is able to really get over top of his wrists, that's not just because of him himself, but that's because he's a black belt, has been doing this a very long time. And the sooner you can get to this point, the better for your jiu-jitsu game. Another
black belt tip, if you're falling ever, because I'm not a doctor, but I see this all the time. If you're ever falling like this, learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Don't base on your hand. So many times I'm just like teaching a class and somebody like will do two things: hyperextend their elbow, or hyperextend or I guess, I don't know, just roll over their wrist a little bit. Just fall. Just learn how to fall. You know what I mean? Rather than like, oh, sacrifice the arm. No, just Just fall, accept the position. It's okay to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Foosh or falling with an outstretched hand is like is the number one way people hurt themselves when falling in multiple sports in life.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to fall, you're just gonna hurt yourself.
Ready, watch, ready, break fall, ready? Look, hard floor.
We went through shoulder, we went through elbow, we went through wrist. You get good at these every single day, like could be first thing of the day or before you go to the gym, before your next meet. You will be able to better defend yourself, better maneuver yourself around your opponent.
Yeah, good luck. If you need anything, reach out. Rene Sousa on Instagram, Mobility Doc on Instagram, and there's a lot of resources. So if you're not helping yourself, we can't help you. But there's a lot of resources just to like watch videos and start to get started. And if you think you need that extra step, come check out Mobility Doc.
That's right.
Yeah, so we went through some tips jiu-jitsu wise on how to get better at armbar escapes, but that wasn't really the focus. The focus was to look at what kind of structure you need in your mobility, because a lot of times, sometimes your elbow is compensating for your shoulder, right? So just working on some of that stability through your structure to be able to escape every armbar, win every match, and just live a good life.
Yeah.
Dominate. Yeah.